video, I'm walking you through how to do Airbench. For Airbench, you're going to need a wall, and your option is to also have a block. So I like doing Airbench with a block because it stops or helps reduce the likelihood of compensation through the legs. I've also got my barefoot trainers on today, so having some shoes is a good idea just so you don't slip on the floor. But if you have a sticky yoga mat, then that's often good enough if you're barefoot, and I would recommend, if you can, doing this in barefoot shoes or shoes without heels. Most normal trainers have heels in them, so they're higher at the back than they are at the front, and that corrupts what we want happening through your legs in this exercise, but also just in general movement as well. It's not good to have the back of your foot always higher than the front of your foot. So barefoot shoes are going to be a good idea in general in life, but also for this exercise because it's going to help maintain a 90-degree angle at your feet. So, at your ankles. So we're basically doing like a wall sit exercise like this, right? But there's a few things that we want to think about. So, as we come down, and this is kind of hard for me to walk you through this, I want your middle of your toes, your ankles and your knees and your hips to all be in alignment. So imagine that I'm sat against the wall here. Can you see how middle of my toes, ankles, knees and hips are in alignment? I'm not like that through my feet. I'm not like this through my knees or like this through my knees. I'm not like this through my feet. I'm really making sure that I'm coming down in this full straight line from the middle of my toes to my hips. This is where the block can be really helpful. So the block being in between your knees is going to stop them falling in or falling out. So that's kind of one thing that it's going to help with. What it isn't going to help you with is your feet. So you've really got to focus on that. For most people, they're going to be slightly more pigeon-toed and slightly narrower than they think. And it can also be really helpful to have somebody else watch you do this the first few times as you get used to it. So you're walking yourself into position. I haven't sort of got myself down as far as I'm going to go to start with. Alignment of feet, alignment of legs, really important. Have your ankles slightly further away from the wall than your knees. So if your feet are really close to the wall like this, it's going to, you know, if you've got good ankle and hip mobility, it's not going to hurt you, but it's just not going to help wake up your hips in the same way. So the feet being further away is really going to help us push your hips and pelvis back into the wall. Big toe joints stay grounded, but you're not clenching your toes. You're really trying to kind of anchor down into the backs of your feet, your heels, as if you're a horse, like putting on the brakes. And you're using that kind of back of the foot momentum to help push your pelvis and hips back against the wall. What we're not doing here is throwing our arms, our shoulders and our head back, because what we're doing then is bracing in our upper body, which is going against what we're trying to do in this exercise, which is all about waking up the lower body. So actually, you're going to be slightly hunched in this one. You're going to have your head and shoulders away from the wall, and that's going to stop you from compensating through the upper body to create the movement. We're going to be just using our legs. So head comes away, shoulders comes away, arms are relaxed. I'm squeezing the block for a little bit of support, pushing into the backs of my heels to really push my pelvis back against the wall. And I'm keeping my lower back and the bottom of my ribs against the wall as well. So that again comes into, don't worry about what your shoulders and your head are doing. This is a pelvis focused exercise. So bosh that pelvis backwards against the wall. Really focus on both sides of the pelvis touching the wall, both sides of your lower back touching the wall, and your pelvis touching the wall. Breathing in and out of your nose, sending that breath to your belly. Yes, it's a difficult exercise, but you've still got to maintain your breath. Arms, shoulders, upper body is relaxed. Legs will hopefully be on fire. I'm not quite at the 90-degree angle here, so the aim of the game would be to do about 2 minutes in a full 90-degree angle. Ankles at 90 degrees, knees at 90 degrees, and hips at 90 degrees. Don't worry if this isn't accessible for you yet. Push yourself up as high as you need to go to be able to maintain it for 1 to 2 minutes. But your eventual goal would to be about here for 2 minutes. Upper body's relaxed, breathing is nice and measured. It's just those legs on fire. This is one of the best hip engagement, pelvic balancing exercises out there, and it's such an easy one that you can do in the day. Even if you don't have a block to hand, you can still try and do that, but just focus on the alignment of your knees not falling out and not falling in. So that was air bench.